Hey. Welcome again. We got kicked off of IG. I don't know what was going on with that. Like Lorinda said, we're bringing some powerful messages, powerful training to uplift and to grow these women in business. So maybe something's trying to stop that. But we are here. We on Facebook. We have Lorinda. We have Candy. And they are going to be speakers at our conference next week, 3-day virtual event. Make sure you get your tickets. The link is in the bio. We have some dynamic sponsors and speakers. They're going to be bringing you tips, tricks about mindset, finances, anything that you can think of to help you grow and sustain profitable businesses. So, for the people that don't know who you are, let's start with Lorinda. Just tell them who you are and about your business.
I am Lorinda Andujar. Most people call me Lala. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I am a six-time author. I am a grief recovery specialist, a transformational leadership coach, and just an all-around friend. So here I am today.
I love it. Welcome. And Candy, tell us about your business and who you are.
Hello, everybody. I'm Candy Martin. I currently reside in Louisiana, and I am a 24-year business owner. And what I'm currently doing and what I love doing is teaching people how money works. And that's for individuals as well as business owners. And my firm, we cover everything from tax preparation, bookkeeping, retirement account, you know, just anything that you need. But before we get into any products or services, our main goal is to educate you to make sure that you understand the decisions that that you make, your options, because a lot of times we make decisions because we're not informed, and we all know how that goes. So I strongly believe an educated decision is a better decision, and I just love helping small business owners. I mean, that's like my sweet spot, and so I'm glad to be here. Shout out to Swag Hub Magazine.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that is really dope that you do that because number one, people start businesses and they're not thinking about the long term. They're not thinking about retirement. They're not thinking about those things. So that's really awesome that you're going to be teaching and talking about, those things and educating on those things. And Lorinda, it sounds like, you're going to be talking about some, I guess, some mindset issues and how to get your mind right around that, which is also important because a lot of people, again, they just jump right out there. They don't have a plan. They're not thinking. So when the hardship comes and things come your way, you have a tendency to give up. So I think that's really dope. What do you guys? I mean, without giving out all the secret sauce, what do you guys want to be, focusing on and talking about next week?
Go
So
ahead, Lala.
okay, so I'm excited because I get to talk about personal development. And so many times, everybody wants to go out there and they want to be a business professional. And like Candy said, they go out there and they start the business. I've done it before. Start the business, have no business plan. And then you got to think about taxes. You got to think about marketing. You got to think about all these other pieces of your business, like liability and other things like that, to get ready. So if you're there already and you're sailing, great. But what about those personal aspects of your life? The unwritten rules of business that nobody talks about. The stuff that we learn hard knocks that you don't have to learn hard knocks. Like the things that you do when you get a seat at the table. If you haven't dealt with your personal traits, if you have any toxic traits within you, if you have a mindset of everybody owes me something without doing the work, those are
Mm,
the things that I'm going to talk about because those are the things that are
Mm.
skimmed over. When we talk about professional development, we don't talk about the stuff that has you stuck in the muck that when you get that seat at the table, you lose that seat at the table because you don't know how to govern yourself and hold yourself accountable. You don't know how to cope when things get tough. You don't know how to build those relationships because even though we are in a business world, we are in the business of people. No matter what you do, we are in the business of people, which requires relationships, which requires accountability and managing ourselves as well as our business. So that's what I'm going to
mm.
talk to you about.
All right, well, we can just pack up and go home now.
Okay.
Shoot.
I mean,
Go
well,
ahead, like, bye.
okay.
I, I didn't know if I was gonna get up and shout or what. I was like, bring it. I mean, that is so true. I just kind of was in a conversation with a young lady, and I was just going down the list, all the checklist, and I'm just going and going and going and going, and she's like, Well, I ain't all gonna do all that. I just wanted to do this part. I'm like, no, no, no.
Mhm.
I need your mindset to understand this is still work. Whether
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna work at
Absolutely.
McDonald's or you're gonna work for
Mhm.
yourself, there's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be some work. Nothing is gonna be given to you. Granted, we do have favor, we do foster relationships that get us in certain rooms and things like that, but
Mhm.
there's gonna be some work somewhere. You're gonna have to be accountable to someone. When you said accountability, one of the first things I thought about is what I will kind of talk about next week, our checklists and things like that. That's what I will talk
Mhm.
about. But the first person we have to give accountability to is ourselves. And we're so easy to, oh, I don't want to let Lala down. Oh, Khadija, I don't want to let her down. But we'll let ourselves down in a minute. And
Mm-hmm.
so,
Exactly.
just taking care of the work. Like these are the things that I have to put in place. Like you said, having that mindset of knowing, I'm going to do this because,
Right.
I'm going to do this. And if we don't take care of those things, like you mentioned, those toxic things about ourselves, unresolved issues, feeling like people owe us, or I did all this hard work. Nobody don't care you spent 18 hours doing something. They want
At
it done
all.
in 15 minutes and they want a discount. So
Right. Exactly.
you know, so you have to get that entitlement out. And that's not what it is. You just gonna have to do the work. And so no matter what I talk about next week, if you don't do like Lala said, take care of that personal stuff, nothing we discuss is going to matter because you'll build the business and it will crash because we are in the business of people. You're
Absolutely.
not going to get there alone. You're going to have to share some stuff. You're going to have
Mhm.
to share some stages. You're not the only one with the secret sauce.
Nope.
Come on.
It didn't stop, so we just got to get through a lot of that. But I'm going to be talking about how money works for business. But at the end of the day, it's a lot of people, they'll sign up for my class and like, oh, business credit, I'm gonna go get the secret. And the very first thing we do is start talking about personal finances. They're like, I didn't sign up for that. Well, I just can't get you there until we take care
Mhm.
of this. We got to get our own house
Absolutely.
in order. So that's what I'm gonna be talking about next week. How to prepare yourself to be bankable. How to prepare your personal finances to in line with your business visions and dreams. So that's what I'm gonna talk about in
Because right
15 minutes.
all I see is business credit, business credit. You can get a CPN, you don't even need your credit. Like everybody is trying to do the get rich quick schemes and they don't want to take the
Mhm.
time and go through the necessary steps to build a sustainable business. That's why I think this conference is such a great idea and is a really dope event because we have women, from all walks of life, different businesses, some are even similar, but they're bringing you like the truth about what it is to grow a business, what it is to start a business, and the type of mindset that you have. So maybe, if one person comes to the conference and gets out of that, let me make $100,000 in 30 day mindset, we've done our job. So I think it's really important, to have these type of events, to have this type of networking with women in business who are doing it, and growing these businesses. So how did you guys get started on this path? I know you guys have been doing this for a long time, um, a lot longer than I have in my business. So, how did you guys get started, and what do you think has helped you to be, sustainable?
Am I going? Okay, I'm going first this time since I. So basically, besides jumping out of the airplane without a plan, um, the way I got started in business, unlike many, but unlike a lot of some people, I grew up in a family of entrepreneurship. But back then, they weren't using the term entrepreneurship. My grandmother used to can vegetables. She was a seamstress. My grandfather was a carpenter. My mother was a professional singer. My dad owned his own business. So I just kind of had an assumption of that was the norm.
Mhm.
And, when I was about 18, 19, I had 8 jobs in one year. And I realized, I'm not cut out for this. And, my habits was fix everything. I was trying to help everybody fix everything. And it just came out. So I'm not going to say that some are born with it and some are not, because that's not true. You can learn to do anything if you put your mind to
Right.
it. But for me, it was cultivated. I was exposed to it. Um, I was there in the midnight hours, helping to do things. So for me, it was exposure. And so my challenge came in finding out, what am I good at? What am I supposed to be doing? I couldn't sing, I couldn't sew, wasn't doing any carpentry work, So I'm like, well, what am I supposed to be doing to fulfill my purpose? And so for me, it was just a journey of trying different things. I wasn't afraid to try stuff. Early on in my marriage, I would tell my husband, I say, "Babe, I got a new idea." He'd be like, "Oh my God, like what we doing this week?" And so I just kind of had to go through several different things until I found my purpose, and then that was on the path to finances, and it was because I had a financial hardship, and I was like, you know what, it's got to be a better way. I don't want anybody else to go through what I went through. And so I thought, early on that I was going to read some books and then I was going to learn and I was going to teach everybody. That was going to be my perfect plan. But the Lord had other plans. He took me through the rough way of that, to where it was really a physical stress of not having enough finances, not having the business in order. And he said, take all your knowledge, all your book knowledge, and put it with the way you felt, so that when you help people and you're sitting across from them, you're not being judgmental. You're able to walk them through the steps, and you're able to call them out on their mindset, like Lala mentioned earlier. A lot of times they'll come in and say, "Oh, I want to do this and I want to do that," and I can say, "Oh no, do you really want to? Because this is what you're going to have to give up. This is what you're going to have to say no to." So for me, it was a journey. And like you said earlier, Khadija, we don't want to do all this trial and error, crash and burn, watching stuff on the gram and thinking it's just going to happen like that. And I think for me, it was a learned pattern. I tried a few things, failed at a lot of things, and then here I am.
Awesome. I can relate to a lot of that, Candy, because, when I first started out, I made a lot of mistakes. And had I done the work, had I read done the research, had I found out what was innately simple for me to do that I can turn into a business, would have been something that I looked at too. So I started with the number one retailer in the world largest retailer in the world at 17. And I had been there for 27 years. And what really piqued my interest about doing what I did, and mind you, I just turned 50. So
you look good, girl.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought.
Thank you. Yes. But I got into talent development. I kind of fell into it, right? So I went from leadership to talent development, and I loved it. I loved having coaching conversations, what we call one-to-one conversations, and pulling things out of people that they did not see in themselves. And then so I worked in, retail is a very treacherous business, to say the least.
Yeah.
And you come across so many different individuals, and you want to, you have these people making six figures with six-figure bonuses, but they're destroying people's lives. And they're not understanding that their interaction with that person extends past the 9 to 5 or the 12 to 13-hour days. It extends past that, because as leadership, we're eventually going to be the topic at someone's dinner table, whether it's good or bad. And how we impact and influence those people are going to determine the trajectory of our leadership path and how far we can go as leaders. And then even if we multiply other leaders, so we're supposed to be the law of multiplicity when it comes to leadership. And so I saw so many things lacking in myself when I was a leader, and I lost some really great talent because I didn't know how to have courageous conversations. I didn't know how to hold myself accountable. I didn't know how to have those tough conversations that will bring the best out of somebody without tearing them down. I always heard give some constructive criticism. That's an oxymoron in itself, because I'm going to ask you this question, can you simultaneously build something and tear it down at the same time?
Wow. No.
So therefore, there's no such thing as constructive criticism.
Right.
It's constructive feedback. Feedback is a loop of giving and taking. So those are the things that I started learning, the unwritten rules of the businesses and the things to make me a great leader, which put me on the path of talent development. I kept hearing the name John Maxwell. So I became a certified John Maxwell speaker and coach. Then I became a certified grief recovery specialist. Then I became a certified mental health first aider. And then I became a certified human trafficking responder. And those things, because the personal things in our lives always bleed into our professional space. And I saw really great manager actually go home and commit suicide.
Wow.
And that impacted me. And I said, you know what? There's got to be more. We've got to teach people how to do the right thing when it comes to leadership. And then I ended up getting laid off. You know, we did a reorganization, and I call it layoff because it was my time to go. But had I not been going through that restructuring, I wouldn't have started my own businesses. But the company that I was restructured with 9 months later paid me $750 an hour to come in and talk to their leadership. 9 months to the day that I had gotten laid off or restructured. So it taught me that this entire time I was with that organization, I was getting skill sets for free that I can now employ into my own business and then impact other people the right way.
Yes, I love it. Listen, I'm excited for next week. They can't give you all their sauce. You gotta buy the ticket. You gotta come to the
Get the
event.
ticket.
Yes, get the ticket. It's 3 days. You know, they're going to be sponsors, speakers. Bring your notepad, bring your pen. Come ready to network. Link is in the bio. I'm super excited. I'll be speaking as well for 15 minutes talking about how to use podcasting to amplify your business. So yeah, come join us. We didn't let that little IG mishap stop us. I hope you guys, even if you got a little bit from this conversation tonight, you know, use what you can, build a business. It's not overnight. It takes time, as you can see, the journey that these two women went through. So you got to start somewhere. So come get the knowledge. I'm so excited. I'm so happy that, you know, we're out here helping women. You know, we need the help. We are the number one earners right now, Black women at that. So, yeah, I'm excited. So make sure you get your tickets. Link is in the bio. Thank you, ladies, so much for
thank you for having us. Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Team Swagger, baby.